Thank you, John. Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, May 20th. We'll now call the meeting of the South Miami City Commission to order. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Thank you. Mayor Fernandez,
Present.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Present.
Commissioner Bonich,
Here.
Commissioner Calle,
Here.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If I could ask everyone in the audience to welcome first, if you could please also silence your cell phones, we'd greatly appreciate it. Let's stand for a brief moment of silence, followed by the pledge led by Commissioner Calle. Commissioner?
I pledge allegiance to
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you. You may. You're recognized.
Good evening. I just want to say a big thank you to Dylan Corey for giving me this beautiful, beautiful bracelet. Thank you very much, Dylan, for thinking of me.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any presentations this evening?
We have one from the Police Department for a Unit Citation Award.
Please, Chief, you're recognized.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorneys. It's my honor to stand before you today to recognize an exceptional group within our police department. The Criminal Investigative Division has shown what it means to go above and beyond in service, professionalism, and dedication throughout 2024. Despite being a small unit, they handled 673 cases with a clearance rate well above the national average. Their work led to 64 felony arrests, over $387,000 in recovered property, and the removal of dangerous narcotics from our streets. They processed crime scenes, conducted special operations, and played key roles in programs like Project Lifesaver and our Persons with Disability Registry. Their efforts didn't stop at assigned duties. They took initiative to proactive crime suppression and partnered with agencies like Homeland Security and the Human Trafficking Task Force. On one of these operations, they helped rescue a 3-year-old child from an unthinkable situation. It's this level of excellence that truly embodies the spirit of this award, and on behalf of the department and the City of South Miami, I want to thank each of you for your unwavering commitment, your credit to our profession and to this community. Congratulations to the Criminal Investigative Division on this well-earned Unit Citation Award. Present those awards to them, and then want to get a photo opportunity with you all?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's head on down.
first and I'll do your phone. Oh, man. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold.
Again, congratulations. Colleagues, we'll go ahead and set the agenda. I'd like to defer item M2, if there's no objection. We'll show that item as deferred. Yes, sir? Any objection to deferring? We'll defer it indefinitely. Item M2, no objection? Okay, Madam Clerk, if you can show that as deferred. Can I get a motion to add on item F1?
I move the item.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any objection to having item F1 added on? Okay, seeing none, we'll consider it added on.
Mayor,
Any other deferrals that we would like on the agenda tonight?
before we move on, I have a quick
Yes,
question.
Sure.
Is there a reason why we're deferring number 2? I wasn't sure why we're.
I haven't been able to develop it, so my apologies. I got ahead of myself and put it on. I'm going to take it off until I actually get a chance to.
On
bring
item
some-
2?
Item M2.
Oh, M2, I'm sorry.
M2, not item 2.
I'm sorry, I
No,
thought
no.
you said item 2.
M2.
Okay.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
thank you. Okay, Matt, can we get a motion to, are there any minutes to be approved, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of what date, Madam Clerk?
April 15th and May 6th.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Mayor Corey, and seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, do you need to call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes,
Minutes passed.
thank you. We'll move on to reports. Mr. Manager, you are recognized. Good evening, Madam Deputy Manager.
Good evening. A reminder that Open Swim at Murray Park Aquatic Center will officially be open beginning June 9th, and that's going to be from 12 to 4 p.m. Admission for kids is just $1 and adults is $3. Tomorrow, we also have our second community meeting in reference to the future of the mango lots. That's going to be happening at the Senior Center at 6 p.m. during the regularly scheduled CAC meeting. So the public is obviously welcome to come and attend that. On behalf of city staff, official congratulations to our city manager who obtained his EDD. He sent a citywide email. If we don't call him doctor, we're fired. So congrats, doctor.
Doctor. Take a bow, doctor.
Strike that from the minutes because that's not true.
That's not true. That's not true. He's embarrassed by it, but we'll keep doing it. And one last thing, on the communications and marketing side, we've been working on with departments to make videos that are informational for the public. So during the manager's report moving forward, we'll be showing you some of these videos. The one tonight is how to do business in SOMI.
Looking to open a business in our beautiful city of South Miami? My name is Hector Rabi, and I'm here to help you navigate through the process of opening a business. But first things first, we need to contact our planning and zoning department.
My name is Marcus Life, and I'm a senior planner for the city. My role is to make sure that your business is allowed at the location where you want to open. I also make sure that the minimum parking requirements for your use are satisfied. Once we've determined that your business is allowed at your location, the next step will be to obtain approval, if applicable, from the Design Review Board, or DRB for short, for any changes to the exterior of a business establishment. That means painting, signs, canopies, etc. In addition, any interior and exterior alterations or any remodeling to be done to the proposed place of business requires that you apply for the necessary permits from the building department. Permits must be obtained prior to beginning the work.
Now that you have the approval from our planning and zoning department, let's continue the process. Go to our homepage, go to business, and click on local business tax receipt information. Depending on the type of business, you will have to contact the fire department for an inspection. You could contact them at 786-331-4800. For those professions regulated by the state boards, you would have to provide a state license, doctors, dental offices, etc. Proof of workman's comp for 4 or more employees in the office, proof of sanitation services, a copy of a garbage pickup. All new businesses need to go through DERM approval, and that's with Miami-Dade County. That's all done online. I will guide you through the process. I hope this video helped you. We're here to make the process as simple as possible.
So if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact us.
That's the end of the manager's report.
Thank you. Any questions? Just a comment, I'm assuming the images of the dentist were there to make sure that people understand it's more fun than going to the dentist's office. And congratulations to our manager. Are you a PhD or what's the new? We had to add some letters to your placard there. What,
Yes.
what are the appropriate ones?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to pursue a doctoral program, and it's an EDD in leadership and innovation. So 32 months, and I was always.
And EDD stands for what?
I'm sorry.
EDD stands for what?
Doctor of Education.
Doctor of Education.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. That was a trick question. And so anyhow, it just was always a goal of mine, and I appreciate the support. It does take a village to help somebody get through something like this, so I appreciate the support of my family here at work to get me through something like this. So I walked the graduation, things that my parents were not able to do, so it was very special for me. So I appreciate the support.
No, congratulations, and a good example to all of us that we're, always something new to learn. And Mr. City Attorney, or Madam City Attorney today, excuse me. Your report, please.
Good evening, everybody. We have 2 items on our report tonight. The first is the Mandelstam matter. We did hear back from Mr. Mandelstam's attorney today. Essentially, there are 2 issues with the settlement and the easement. Mr. Mandelstam would like the easement to be limited to fire only, not emergency. And they would also like a survey of the easement area, which has been ordered. Quentin so kindly did that. And we're pending receipt of the survey any day now. So those 2 issues outstanding.
Okay. Commissioner Kai has a question. You're recognized, sir.
Is there a consequence for not having the fire exit or emergency services to the park there?
I would think if the county accepts the limitation to only fire, that should be fine.
Is that we're assuming that's happening here?
That's
the
what
county's
Mr.
gonna
Mandelstam
approve that?
wants, to limit it to only fire access, not emergency, not that term.
Okay.
Yeah, our understanding of the reason for the access way is for fire apparatus in the event of a fire to be able to access the building. I'm assuming, we're hoping that access for emergency vehicles through the parking lot in response to an incident at the park would be sufficient. But I'm assuming our feedback's going to be we need to get what we need to get to satisfy the county.
The county is
and
satisfied, correct,
Beyond that, we really are happy to concede on all the other points.
Right.
correct.
So it's contingent on that, my
Yes, correct.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The second item is on the city's complaint for declaratory relief against the governor of the state of Florida and the attorney general. We did receive their motion to dismiss this past Friday. Essentially, the motion states that the city and the mayor do not have legal standing to bring this action, that the matter is not ripe, and that means that there's no imminent actual controversy pending before the court. The motion also addressed various merits of the lawsuit and was not just procedural. At this time, we want to ask for an executive session with the commission next week so we can address the motion to dismiss and possible options for the city moving forward. So I would like, Madam Clerk, if you could, with the direction of the commission, to try to schedule an executive session for next week, if possible.
No objection to the recommendation. Thank you for the update. I am traveling Tuesday, Wednesday, and back Thursday morning on a personal matter. So if we could do the session either Monday, if it's not too late to advertise it, or Thursday afternoon, Memorial Day. So Thursday afternoon maybe, or Friday?
Thursday's good with me, too.
Okay, then if that's fine with my colleagues, I just ask for indulgence, have to.
Thursday afternoon.
Okay, and just to announce publicly on the record, Mayor, this is pursuant to Florida Statute 286.011 subsection 8, requesting an executive session in the litigation styled City of South Miami, Javier Fernandez versus Ron DeSantis, John Ootmeyer, case number 2025 CA 000505, Second Judicial Circuit, Leon County.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
That's all, thank you.
Okay, questions? Nope. Okay. Please, you're recognized.
When we meet, can we please have all the details, including costs incurred and everything up to that point?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will close the reports, and we will open up public remarks. I've got 4 folks on the list. If we could, Mr. Kelly, you're first on the list. Please come forward.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm just here to publicly invite everyone for our Juneteenth celebration. Will take place on June 21st at the Bethel Gibson Center from 2 to 6. We'll have a little surprise program for everybody as it goes. So I'm hoping everybody will show up, have fun. We'll have some good food, and we'll have a little history of the community. All right? So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
To the mayor.
Yes, you're recognized.
Mr. Kelly, real quick, I'm sorry, I had a question for you. Is there an RSVP that people need to go to? I remember last year, there were tables.
Yeah,
So I wasn't sure if there's
asking
like a
that,
limited space there for you.
It's limited space, and you can RSP Levi Kelly 44 at gmail.com.
All right. Is there anywhere our social can help out with that a little bit? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next on the list, I have Mr. Nick Truby. Recognize, sir. Good evening.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Truby. I haven't met many of you, but I wrote you guys an email this week. And so, Danny, I'm Nick.
Hi, Nick.
We've been missing each other quite a few times in the last few months. I'm here because I got kind of caught into this a little bit after, I think a lot after. There's a vacant lot across from the bike store over by 80th and 67th Avenue by the CVS. And not Max Cycle, but Miami Bikes right behind Tom Thumb. But the lot is on our side of 80th, and it's been there. It had a home on it something like 45 years ago. But, and I know you guys have talked plenty about it, and I know you've heard about it. I guess I'm just talking to the public. Yes, that could be a beautiful lot for a home. Yes, it could be a beautiful lot for townhouses. But yes, it could be a beautiful lot for a park. And this is way late, and I know there's a lot of stuff going on. But one of the things that's going on is a zoning change is being voted on. And once that zoning change happens, then we're that much farther away from keeping it small and getting it bigger. I'm from South Miami. I was born and raised here. I went to Ludlam. Mr. Ward was my principal at South Miami Junior High. My kids went to Ludlam Elementary School. My wife from Chicago and I chose to move back into Florida, into this neighborhood. I moved 3 blocks away from my brother, 10 houses away from the house I grew up in, 8 houses away from where my mom resides, and I'm 2 houses away from my younger brother and his 2 kids. His niece I just coached on South Miami's junior high football team this whole summer. In fact, her picture and my picture are hanging on the wall of the community center because we won the Dade County Championship. Did you know that? When's the last time South Miami Junior High won a Dade County Championship? All the time. Okay. Okay, great. I love this community, but I do my thing and I try not to get in the, up in the public's face all the time. Parks, green space are way more valuable than anything else. I bought my house for $130,000. I went, what, $100,000 for a house in this neighborhood? I delivered the paper to these houses. I delivered the Miami News in 6th grade to these houses, the same house I grew up in. I was shocked 2 years later when my next door neighbor bought his for $280,000. How do you think I felt last year when my back door neighbor paid over $1 million? Just like all of us. We will see real estate prices do crazy, amazing things while we live here. Some of it will be good, some of it will be bad. And I teach architecture, construction, and trades. I push my kids into the building industry. All of my friends, 90% of my friends are in the building industry, from developers, construction workers. My mother-in-law's a realtor. I'm not against real estate. I'm not against development at all. But right now, there is a spot that could be such a sweet spot for South Miami, something that smacks of the park across Coral Gables Waterway when you go into Coconut Grove. We all go to Coconut Grove. We go around the circle of Coco Plum. We cross the bridge, and there's a beautiful park there. This park is situated the same way. It's US 1, not the Coral Gables Waterway, but it's right off of this new underline bridge, underline park. It's literally touching the underline park, and it could be such an entrance to a really sweet part of South Miami that is called Ludlam Glades. That's what, on those old plats, that's what they call it. It's just an opportunity. And I just started hearing about it. I've got a lot of things going on in my life, including a beautiful acreage up in Georgia that I'd like to get there, but I'm still working at South Miami High School well into my 30 years. I'm in my 32nd half year with no plans of quitting. But I could walk away and say, hey, take the money and run, get my mill and go up to Georgia, build a mansion for $200,000, and I may do that. But I don't want to leave this neighborhood, and I certainly don't want to leave this neighborhood in a better situation than it had been for me. That park would be fantastic. And I'm going to tell you commissioners, I know so many of the past commissioners. Buddies with them. Julio and I went to high school together. Bob and I played in a band together. Bob Welsh, who's gone. By the way, he died putting a park together. Lewis Gill stepped in and grabbed hold of that park and finished it and did a fantastic job. And unfortunately, the last time I talked to Lewis was at down to Fussell Park, shaking his hand, telling him what a great job he did. He and Josh, where did Josh sit? I think Josh sat over there. He moved around, yeah. He moved around. He used to be there.
He used to be over here, yeah.
They were proud of that. Those guys are proud of that. That's their legacy. I don't know how possible it is to do a park in the next year or two. Probably not. We're all short on money. But That lot has been vacant for 40 years. And I'd love to meet the developer. I think I'm going to tomorrow night, just to talk. And I will wish him help. I will wish him anything he can. But that lot is that lot. There's 100 lots on that side of Manor Lane Bridge. I'm not talking about my brother Fred's side. I'm talking about that side. 67th Avenue, Tom Thumb. We call it Tom Thumb. I know the intersection is 80th and 67th. One of my sons has a song out on the internet called 67th Avenue and 80th because he grew up on Tom Thumb. That's how important that point is to a lot of us. And I just want to tell you commissioners that you're going to do a lot of things. You're braver than me. I just told you that today, Danny, to be up here. I've been told 20 times, 30 times, Nick, you should run for commissioner. You'd be commissioner. Nah, 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 nah. And I don't. So I commend you for that. I commend you for the public service. This is a chance to just say, all right, let's step back and wait and see. Maybe in a couple years, maybe something happens where buying that park is easy, or buying that land is easy. But if we move forward with the zoning change, it'll make it that much harder. That's all I have to say. I don't know if anything will come of it, but I think it's definitely something to think about. Seriously think about without moving ahead too fast. I guess that's my main message tonight is try not to move too fast in decisions, permanent decisions.
Thank you for the comments. I have a question. Do you have a question as well?
I didn't have a question, I had a comment.
Go ahead, sir.
I think that one of the things that we've always talked about was getting a park there. We didn't have the ability to buy it back then
Right.
when it was available. We didn't have the bond available. That would have been a perfect opportunity to use the bond. Because we're big fans of building parks. We've done it now for going on 3 years now. That was a great opportunity. The problem is I think we missed the mark because we didn't have it available. We can still look at it. It'll be complicated because we can't do things or slow things down for the other cause, to restrain or restrict the current owner. That's not kosher. But I'm with you. I agree with you. I think most of us do here. It's just, I think we missed the opportunity, and that's why we have to move on.
The current owner, and I feel for his situation. I certainly don't buy things to lose money. I don't invest in things to lose money. The current owner took a chance on a zone that he was hoping would be changed. If anybody promised him it would be changed, then somebody said the wrong thing. I'm not saying anybody did at all. I'm not accusing him, but if his buddy said, you can get that changed, they told him the wrong thing. Because he could get it changed, but it shouldn't be a done deal before. So if he builds a beautiful house there, then we get a beautiful house. If he can get all the permitting to build a beautiful house, then he gets a beautiful house. But I'm just saying, if it makes that next move, then we all can just completely give up our chances of it being anything than that. And it had a house there once. If somebody has a nice residence there, but I'm just saying, slow down on the moves. That's all.
Thank you. And I think, I appreciate you coming out. One of the things, the first time this was before us, we deferred the application based on comments. Again, I continue to invite you. You guys, your family is the neighborhood in many ways, the heart of the neighborhood. If you can get us some feedback from neighbors about that they share the sentiment, I think it's certainly worth having a conversation on this day as whether we want to do something extraordinary here. And we can certainly speak to council about what our options are. Maybe we consider taking the property for this public purpose. Now that's going to come, and the reason I want to make sure there's widespread support is because that's not going to come without substantial cost. Whether the zoning change is approved or not approved at this point, there's an investment back expectation on the part of that owner, and getting to evaluation, in front of a jury or otherwise, not going to be I don't anticipate it to be an inexpensive proposition. That said, I do recognize that, green space, as Commissioner Kaye mentioned, we are going through a 10-year parks master planning process. There are certainly sites that I spoke to our consultant about pursuing for acquisition, and so we do, if there are opportunities, want to pursue them. This one, I think we had kind of written off because 2 years ago, when there was an event where it was on the market, we were not in a position to take it down. But,
I know that feeling.
yeah, yeah, no,
That house behind me,
yes, I
it was
know.
offered to me several times. And not for $1 million,
Yeah.
not even close.
But thanks for coming out, Mr. Chu, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay,
My son works for City of South Miami, and it has been the best thing for that kid for the last 2.5, 3.5 years. I just want to say that because I know Quentin's right over there.
thank you, appreciate that.
Nice meeting you, Nick, in person.
Mr. Ward, you're recognized. Good evening.
You know, he's a good example of what we had at South Miami Junior High for the many years. He got his start with a woodshop teacher by the name of Eric Stevens. And he's now in a similar profession, and also, I think it's South Miami Senior High, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's always good to see an old alumni here. And his family's been around a long time, let's put it that way. And I don't know if he recognized me to make himself feel younger, but I've been retired 33 years, so you know how old he is. Now, a couple of things briefly. Commissioner Rodriguez, the other day, I saw a sign, political sign, elect Commissioner Rodriguez. Is on the southeast corner of 76th Street and 59th Avenue, so I'm sure you'll be glad to save that tomorrow.
Hopefully I won't need it anytime soon.
The other thing I'd like to mention, and I mentioned it at one of the other commission meetings, is as I was coming up here today, I come 62nd Avenue across the highway to Sunset. 62nd Avenue, no traffic signal era to let a traffic person go across. It's dangerous. And I mentioned it before, and I just can't believe that a city would allow something. I didn't know it'd be that difficult to put an era in a traffic light. I mean, this is something, if it didn't sink in the last time, please look into it and try to get it done, because sooner or later there's going to be an accident. And if there hadn't already been, I don't know. But it's a difficult situation. The people dash across when the light first turns, and there's also sometimes they're close to accidents. The last thing I want to say is I've been around this city since 1961, and I've seen a lot happen. But one of the things that's happened here recently that it's extremely positive thing, this city is putting, I don't know who's responsible for it, but this city's putting something on Facebook almost every day about city activities. And I'll tell you, this is one way that these people don't come to commission meetings, but a lot of them read Facebook. And I can tell you that a lot of people appreciate the information that's being displayed through Facebook about the city. And one last statement I sit down with. He said he paid $169 for his house and the value of it. I bought my house in 1965 for $65,000.
You win.
I said that wrong. $18,000.
Oh, $18,000. Thank you, Mr. Ward. Mr. Lopez, you're next on the list. Is there anyone else who'd like to address this commission in public remarks? If you've not already registered, please do so in the back or with staff here for the front. Thank you.
Hello.
Sir, you're recognized. Good evening.
Jason Lopez, 7730 Southwest 65th Place. He was my vice principal at South Miami also. His son Steve was my broadcasting teacher for 3 years at South Miami Middle School. So good to see you again. I'd like to echo what Nick brought up about not moving too quickly on rezoning the property on Manor Lane and 80th Street. We have one chance to hold on to it, it seems like at this point, and it is now up for discussion for the city to consider, which is the first time kind of ever, it seems like. And if we do rezone, then I do think the opportunity to turn this into a park is lost. I know that the idea for me was brought up by this commission, It was brought up again by this commission, and I think it's an awesome idea. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get you the information that you need to see from the residents. So I ask you, what is the information you need to see from the residents? What's it look like? How is it presented? Because you said, Nick, go talk to people, come back to me. How is that information shared with?
I'll just speak for myself and my colleagues and elaborate. I've seen, I think, 6 emails from folks in the neighborhood. You know,
Emails are good?
Emails are good.
You
I
like
mean, I
emails?
think if that is if it feels like that's the general sentiment, I'm certainly going to have an offline conversation with council, see what our options are.
Okay.
And,
I
maybe,
just want to be sure I present what.
again, I think all of us, we had this conversation, a related conversation with the mango lots that you heard about this evening. There's a public hearing tomorrow night about it. We got a lot of feedback from folks when the item was brought forward in terms of what we were going to do with it. The CRA had 15 or 20 years ago earmarked that plot of land for development. Some of us had, remarked it should remain a park, right? Had that discussion because of what might happen in the neighborhood. It turns out we get a lot of feedback that people would like to preserve it just the way it is. So we're having conversations about what we do there. Again, we don't have a development application from a private party. It's publicly owned land. So we can take our time and be more deliberate with it. Here, we have to act, fairly with the developer.
There is, I'd like to echo what he
Yeah.
brought up, saying that person did take a chance buying this property, and just because they bought it doesn't mean they get the opportunity to rezone it necessarily. There are a number of challenges with the property that have been brought up that make it a tricky spot. And just because they purchased it does not mean that they get the right to put so many units on it. And so I ask you guys to really consider, and if it means being slowed down, then slow it down a little while. And so, thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
I just want us to keep in mind that this is privately owned
It is.
property. There are limitations to what I feel we can do. And the flip side of that is there is a lot of conversation about, well, why don't we just buy it? But I think that when we have those conversations, there has to be a certain sense of fiscal responsibility that goes with that, because there are 12,000 of us, not, 40 of us or what have you. So it's in essence, it's all of our money. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. As a matter of fact, when it first came up, you were here, you know what I thought. But I think that to give huge hope, I think we need to temper that, because the reality is it does belong to someone. It is private property, and we have no idea what goes with that. So I think that writing emails and all of that is great, but we need to continue to have that based in reality and what we can actually do. Okay, he wants to say something. He's going like this to me, but I'm not.
Yeah, no,
the one that tells him to come up.
I think, let me just, at least I'll speak for myself again. I'm not under any notion that, again, as I said from the beginning, this is not an easy undertaking, given where we are, right? I wish we were in this position 2 years ago, before there was an application pending, with the prospect of being able to purchase something and knowing that we had a future opportunity to structure some financing to do it. We weren't there, unfortunately. I think, could it be done? Yes. Is it likely? I'd say probably right now not. So, but that doesn't mean we can't have a conversation and understand what our exposure would look like, so we can weigh that against, the opportunity cost of doing it.
Absolutely. I just
Okay.
want us to stay in reality.
Yeah, I had one more comment. The lots on 77 Terrace, we had a hard conversation about that as well. That was perfect, 30,000 square feet of land and a prime location. We didn't have the opportunity to do so. That would have been a great opportunity to do so too. What's the saying, minute late, dollar short, whatever it is that the saying?
A day late.
There you
Day late, a
go.
dollar
I always mess them up, it's my fault, but you understand what I'm saying?
If you're going to come up and speak, we'll give you one more crack.
I won't say who it was, but at the last meeting when I was in the back of the room and the idea was brought up that this become a park, someone in this room did pat someone else on the back, saying like, hey, good idea. And it was on this side of the room. So I just want to mention that.
It was, okay, I don't understand what that means, but we can talk.
I'll put it plainly, the developer patted the other guy on the back saying, hey, maybe they'll buy the property as a park. At the time when you
Yeah.
said, hey, let's turn it into a park, you patted them on that.
Okay,
So they're open-minded, that's all I'm
Thank
saying.
you, thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
For $2 million.
We'll see how much it costs, yeah.
Yeah, how much does it cost?
Okay. Is there
Yeah.
anyone else who'd like to address this commission in public remarks? Seeing no one in the chamber, Madam Clerk, is there anyone online who'd like to make comments in public remarks? It's okay.
No one online has their hand up. Anyone online for public remarks?
Okay, seeing no one, we will close public remarks at this time. Let's move on to the discussion items. Ms. Cabrera, I believe you are leading the discussion on M1 Bird Glass.
Good evening, Tsunami Cabrera, Development Services Director. So a few commission meetings back, we were asked to look at the bird-safe glazing and the cost implications of having this requirement in our zoning code. I prepared a memo which has the different options because I think there was some confusion on what are the options for bird-safe glazing. Like there's only like one type, but there a lot of different ways of accomplishing this. And then I also tried to give you some information on cost increase of using impact glass versus this bird-safe glazing. Those numbers are the best guess I could get because there isn't really a lot of information out there on this. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the memos, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
My only question, again, your recommendation was what, for the benefit of the audience?
I would keep the ordinance as it is. I think it's a
Okay.
good ordinance. And if we have a developer that really feels that it's a hardship, they could provide proof that it is a hardship, and then perhaps it could come to this commission for consideration. But, absent of actually having something that really shows that this is a hardship, I think it's a good ordinance.
And I believe your analysis did not suggest that we change the strike zone. I know the strike zone or the impact zone is limited to, was that 75 feet?
100 feet.
100 feet, excuse
Yeah.
me. Okay. So everything north of 100 feet is outside of the typical flight path of most birds?
Yes.
Okay. So further questions or comments?
No.
None? Okay. Thank you for the analysis. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on, Madam Clerk, on items N1, N2, and 3, does that require action, or do they need to, or they just need to be read into the record?
They just need to be read into the record, no action.
Then if you can read items N1, N2, and N3, would you like to discuss any of them?
I just want to make a comment.
Yes.
If I may.
On
Mayor.
those or on the prior
In
items?
general.
Okay.
On this topic.
Okay, go right ahead, sir, yeah.
Thank you, through the mayor. So I just wanted to bring up, obviously, we all have the appointments that we're supposed to make for each board, and, it's our right to put whoever it is that we want to put on certain boards. I would like to recommend that maybe we take some sort of action as far as limiting, these appointees to one board and not multiple boards. And again, this is in general to anybody who's applying or who we're looking to put into one of our boards. And my example for this is, we have someone who's being appointed to a board today who already sits on another board. So this person is going to sit on, so if I will be on the design review board. He will have presentations shown to him, a decision will be made, and comments will be made with a vote. Then it goes to the planning board, and that same person is going to review again the same project with the same comments and the same thing. So all I'm saying is, we should have a diversity between the boards. Like Commissioner Guy always says, we want to be best in class. Well, to be best in class, we have to have, different perspectives and different ideas. So I just think that we should enforce or do something where we limit that an appointee would be restricted to serving just one board.
So just a clarification, I think, are you is your concern related specifically to boards that have similar but not overlapping jurisdiction on the planning side? Because there are examples of individuals who serve on multiple boards, maybe not on related subject matter.
True, exactly. So
Okay, so I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to
So-
clarify what the intent is.
yes, you're correct, Mr. Mayor. So it would be when it's the same, you know, same topic, same things that you're reviewing, it just seems like it's repetitive.
Okay, so I'll just, and I'm not, appreciate the comment, I think it's a fair observation. Madam City Attorney, or to our city's attorney, any concerns about having an individual sitting on both review boards from a due process or process standpoint period, in terms of conflicts that may emerge?
Not that I can think of at the moment,
Okay.
but our code does allow for an appointee to sit on more than one board.
Okay.
In Section 2-22, so.
Okay. You sat on both the DRB and Planning Board, or?
I sat on the DRB board as chair and on the Budget and Finance board.
Okay,
But they're two separate, you don't,
okay,
They're just two boards, yeah.
okay. So, yes, ma'am, you're recognized.
I understand things might not be in the charter or what have you, but I think it's interesting because Budget and Finance and Design Review Board, like you're saying, two different tracks. And I think that, you can be on the Marshall Williamson Scholarship and the Planning Board or whatever, but I do understand the sensitivity to sitting on two boards that are looking at the same thing
back to back.
back to back, and not even back to back, even if you saw one this month and the other one 2 months from now or 3 months from now. If
Yeah.
I were the person with my plans running through there and I kept seeing the same person,
I don't, it's, I remain purposely ignorant about our land development regulations, right? Given that's what I do, so I don't try to dominate the conversation. But remind me, Madam City Attorney, not every application that goes to DRB goes to Planning Board, correct?
Correct.
So, again, that's why I said similar but not overlapping jurisdictions, because I think there are certain projects where I think Commissioner Rodriguez's point is absolutely valid. But there are also applications that will never, likely will go, again, Madam City Attorney, you can elaborate on this further, would be more likely to go to DRB, since all of them tend to, but never go to Planning Board, right? And so that individual, in many cases will only be opining once. Now that said, I think it's a well-made point. There's another layer here of sensitivity to the conversation, given who the individual is.
can I tell you?
But
But it has nothing to do with that.
I know it does not, but I know that some people will infer that from the conversation. And so just to say, I'm going to look to my colleague, who is the person who nominated this person for the position, to see what his preference is first, before I bring it back to try to close the discussion of how we want to dispense with item N3. Okay?
Say one thing.
Can we wait to let him hear from one?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You're
Thank
recognized,
you.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
So, yeah, obviously, I think the way that we receive volunteers and their volunteers in the city, I really try to not have that be an exclusive endeavor. And when we have people who do serve on multiple boards, I can think of a couple off the top of my head. There's some of the best and brightest on our boards. They're people who have given so much to the city. I have never really seen, obviously they share some similarities. They are two of, I guess you could say maybe our weightiest boards in terms of the decision they make. One of them is an enforcement board, one of them's advisory. But I do think that they're different enough, and I do think that you might end up finding those situations where the best and brightest might want to be on those two boards, and I wouldn't want to restrict the city from that. And of course, the way that we receive volunteers, a lot of times we go out and we talk to them. A lot of times people come up to us, and I'd be remiss to not accept a talented person to serve on one of our boards. And someone with his credentials, I'm very happy that he was willing to dedicate extra time to do that.
So because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, and I want to just suggest maybe, Mr. Vice Mayor, if you want, if you're willing, let's defer action on N3, and maybe you can talk to the appointee about whether he's interested in pursuing the appointment still, given the conversation, or maybe he wants to serve on an alternate board. He might be inclined to just, volunteer for
Maybe
something else.
If possible,
Yeah.
because I'd love to fill the vacancy.
Yeah.
I'd love to just push it through and have the conversation with him about maybe
Okay,
bringing
withdrawing
someone
after,
on.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So with that, yes, you're recognized.
All I want to say is, everybody remember I said we should will DRB into the planning board. Perfect example. You can't think for a second and let that one pass.
Okay. Point noted. Okay, yes.
If I may, city attorney, I believe that so any project over 40,000 square feet goes to both DRB and planning board. I think the only ones that don't go to both is residential. That's the only one. So if you have a small residential, it's not, but all the main, big, important projects that are coming through the city all go through both boards, correct?
Yes, that's my understanding, but we can ask Ms. Surami, who's here, just to confirm.
Ms. Caparag,
Yeah, anything over 40,000 square feet or greater than 4 stories.
So all major projects.
So, do we want to, we typically would move these, or there's no action required other than reading the names? We do not have to vote them as a board?
You don't have to vote, I just have to
Okay.
read.
So again, this is an appointment that's a prerogative of the vice mayor. So I would just ask the clerk to read the names into the record, and Mr. Vice Mayor, if you're going to have a conversation, if you want to have a conversation with your appointee about this after the fact, I think,
And if I could, I really do appreciate the feedback. And I do think that there are some valid points here. I do also want to fill vacancies in our board, and I do want to give people who are,
interested in the opportunity to serve,
accredited
yeah. Okay.
So would you like me to read all 3 or leave the third one out?
Let's proceed. If it does not require action by this board, and it's the prerogative of each board member to appoint whoever they deem fit, then let's go ahead and read them into the record. Okay?
So N1 is Dick M. Ortega, has been appointed by Commissioner Bonich to the Budget and Finance Committee as per City Charter, Article 2, Section 8A, for the fiscal year budget 2025-2026. He will be replacing Alex Aleman. N2, Renzo Renzi, has been appointed by Mayor Fernandez to the Design Review Board as per Charter, Article 2, Section 8A, for a 2-year term ending May 20th, 2027. And 3, Daniel Guerra has been appointed by Vice Mayor Corey to the Design Review Board as per City Charter, Article 2, Section 8A, for a 2-year term ending May 20, 2027.
Thank you. Show those individuals appointed. Madam Clerk, if you can read item 1 on the agenda, please.
A resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, approving the reappointment of Jose Fernandez to the Pension Board of Trustees.
Okay. Is there a motion on item 1, please?
I'll move the motion.
Okay.
Second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Kaya, a second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Kaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Bonich?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes.
Item passes 5-5.
Great. If we can read item 2 into the record, please.
A resolution of the Mayor and the City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, approving a proposal and project agreement with SRS Engineering, Inc. to provide additional construction phase services for the sanitary sewer improvements Sub-Area K Phase 1 project in the amount of $123,769.31.
Thank you for that. Mr. Manager, you're recognized.
We're discussing item 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, item 2. Item 2.
Doctor, item 2.
Yes.
It's 2, sorry. Yeah.
All that education, and he's, can't count.
I've lost all my brain power. So we're bringing this before you as anticipated regarding management of our project. This is a contract with our design engineer for our septic to sewer project. The project had a notice to proceed originally of 270 days, which that would be sometime in May. We understood when we started the project, there were some changes by Miami-Dade Water and Sewer that also affected that timeline. And then since then, you've been aware of some of the challenges with the project, which also has extended itself somewhat. As of late, some speed has been picked up, given that some of the challenges originally on the leg of 85th Street did not transfer over to some of the other streets. So this proposal brings forward the ability to maintain our design, our engineer of record through the project, which we have a date slated for October. That doesn't necessarily mean that the pipe work would go through October, but once the pipe work is finished, which we're pretty close to finishing the pipe work, then doing some restoration, then the focus is on the pump station and the easement. So this allows us to maintain our engineer of record through October with extending their services for oversight of the project with a cost of $123,769.
Questions of the manager? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion?
I'll move the motion.
I'll
Okay.
second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kaya, a second by Commissioner Bonich. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes by.
Thank you. If you can read item 3, please.
Maybe now you'll have your street.
A resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of South Miami, Florida, approving and authorizing the waiver of certain event-related fees and costs in an amount not to exceed $3,935.60 pursuant to section 15B-6 of the city code for a special event known as the Juneteenth celebration presented by the South Miami Black Cultural Affairs Foundation, Inc., to be held on Saturday, June 21st, 2025, at the Gibson Bethel Community Center.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Manager, is there any presentation from staff on this?
No, not necessarily. This is an item that's been before us the prior year. And so in this case, the waiver before you for $3,935.60 encompasses some of the police detail, the Parks Recreation staff, special events fee, and this mirrors what we've done in prior years for this event.
Any questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, I'll just say thank you to Mr. Kelly and the foundation for organizing the event yet again, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday, the 21st. Is there a motion?
Move the motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez, a second by the Vice Mayor. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on item 3.
Yes. Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes by 5.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you can read item 4, please.
Yes. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, approving the proposal and project work/purchase order with eXp US Services, Inc. to provide surveying, mapping, and subsurface utility engineering services for the placemaking, branding, and urban design services project relating to the Hometown District on Sunset Drive and adjacent streets.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Colleagues, any questions? Just for the benefit of the public, this is the survey work needed to complete the design for the improvements within the town center, or Snowy District. If there's no need for a presentation from staff, I'm happy to entertain a motion.
I'll move the motion, Mayor.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Kaya, is there a second?
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on item 4, please.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Sorry, my microphone was off.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 5.
Okay, we'll move on to item 5, which is a public hearing. Madam Clerk, if you can read that for the record, please.
A resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of South Miami, Florida, approving a multi-year first amended interlocal agreement with Miami-Dade County for inclusion in the county curbside recycling program, authorizing the city manager to negotiate, finalize, and execute the first amended interlocal agreement with the county.
Mr. Manager, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Commission, this item is our agreement for curbside recycling program. As you know, we contract through the county and have a third-party vendor providing that service. The county most recently went through a process of rebidding the zones within the county, which obviously, as a result of that, the vendor providing our services changed. Waste Management was able to win that zone through the county process. So this agreement amends are interlocal with Miami-Dade County. This is a first amended agreement with a stipulated increase that is effective April 1st, 2025, and then with a 3% CPI, bringing our monthly charge per household a total of $7.42. And then October 1, obviously that'll be revisited from a consumer price index standpoint with a cap of a range of 3 to 5% increase depending on the CPI. So we had this item previously, but we were still working out some things with Miami-Dade County. So the total cost of this service to date in October 1, we estimate to be about $261,620, and that's assuming a 3% change.
Colleagues, any questions?
I have a quick.
Recognize, sir.
Mr. Manager, this is weekly still, right? Where the pickup is weekly.
Correct.
Have we ever thought of maybe switching it to going bi-weekly?
We have had that conversation.
Yeah.
So yes.
Funny you mentioned that, yeah.
Everyone-
Commissioner, there have been conversations that predate your time here on the commission. There have been some conversations. We did some analysis. The last analysis, I believe, I recollect, if we switch from weekly back to bi-weekly, I think there was about a $53,000 reduction in cost. Over a 5-year period, when the city first converted, I think there was about a $40,000 increase when it went from bi-weekly to weekly. And then we've had other increases throughout that were as a result of the county vendor changing their pricing structure in the county, increasing that, and now with these new contracts. So the analysis, the most recent analysis, which was done a few months ago, I guess the last time we actually talked about it, about a $53,000 difference, savings, if you will, if we went to a bi-weekly.
Okay.
Well, it's something else that we're trying to do with the new company, and we discussed it with them, is to, when our recycling is picked up on a Wednesday, traditionally that route then extended to other parts of the county and commingled what was picked up with the city. So the city really never had a data point as to how much volume we were generating. So we've talked about having them on one particular Wednesday, and we're letting them sort of get transition into servicing the city, that maybe they would pick up and they go straight to the facility and try to get a volume count. So at least we have a data point on how much volume we generate. So that's something we're going to discuss. The reason for me bringing that up, it was always the question of, are we recycling more because we went to weekly? Don't have any proof that we are. We know we're picking up more frequent, but we have no proof that we're recycling more. It may be a perception, but we just don't have any evidence of that. So we'd like to obtain that information. So I think that kind of summarizes a few conversations that this commission has had over time.
Okay.
Thank you for that
Thank you.
last comment, because it avoids me having to ask the question. Commissioner Kaye.
No, I think he answered the question. My question was, now that we have the new company, we're going to try to get a baseline. And you answered that, and I think that, as Director Munoz is here as well, we have a better chance of really strategically understanding recycling and a lot more services that we can provide our residents. So I'm looking forward to that. I know we've had conversations about that over here in the last couple of days, but I'm looking forward to what the city's going to do with recycling and all waste services and composting, water management. It's a bright future for the city of South Miami.
Commissioner Bonich.
I just want to say that we continue to see the cost of recycling go up and up and up. I'm not going to say it again because you all know what I feel about recycling. Oh, really? You don't remember? I swear I couldn't have whispered in your ear if I tried.
Sarcasm on his part.
Yeah, and I feel that saying yes to this while we're having the conversation of having a dedicated truck is almost like, with Obamacare, you have to vote yes if you want to be able to read what's in the document. I feel like this is the same exact thing. Like, oh, you think it's great? Say yes, and then let's talk about it. I'm not going to say yes, but I would like for you guys to consider that while you're thinking about whether you're going to vote yes or no. It's essentially pay me up front, and then we can try and figure out if we're doing it or not. It just,
Sorry,
it
you
doesn't
say,
work for me.
Would appreciate some clarity. When you say pay me up front, what are you
Well,
referring
right,
to?
we still don't know if we're recycling more because we're doing it every week. But we're going to say most likely yes to this, take the hit of the increase, and then like the city manager was just
Excellent.
saying,
Let me-
see if we can get a dedicated
Appreciate what you're
truck.
saying. I just didn't follow that last thought.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Corey, and then I'll ask a question.
All right, thank you. Obviously, I think this is a very important initiative we should continue, but I was wondering as well with the data points, if at all possible, because I would love for us to get better at this as well. I know that we're going to collect and weigh. I don't know if there's any way possible we can measure our own levels of contamination that, we might be able to improve upon through informational campaigns, through other processes. But I feel like if we don't know how much we're recycling and we don't know how much is contaminated, we can't really get better at it in any, strategic way. So if we're able to do that, that would be great for processes moving forward.
Just on that, I did have a conversation. So there was a lag when Waste Management was awarded the zone to when they actually started servicing, so maybe about 4.5 months. So early on, we did speak to Waste Management about that, and maybe some ability to have that as well as a data point. And that wasn't as firm as picking up on a Wednesday and knowing what our volumes, but certainly is one of the things that we want to try and obtain. I know other communities have an estimate, and we don't, so we'd like to be able to have that.
And if I may, I just think our city's ability to communicate with its residents and our residents' pride in recycling and being green, I do think that that could be a really good combination for us to figure out how to reduce our contamination and maybe even model that for the rest of the county if other cities aren't doing that. But
Mr. Manager, just a quick question. So executing this contract just guarantees the service on a per-door basis, correct?
On a per what basis?
What's the cost basis? Is it per door?
Correct.
Per door.
This brings it to $742 per door per month.
To the Vice Mayor's question, should we decide that we want to roll back or pull back on the frequency of the service, are we impeded from doing that if we execute this contract? Or do we have the flexibility to basically pay for what we're putting into the system?
Yeah, we're not impeded. What I would need to make certain is there a window of time when that would be allowed versus just at any time? Like canceling the contract would have to be within 30 days of a termination date. So,
We wouldn't want to cancel the contract. The question is, we would want the right to modify the frequency of when we pick up waste.
And we had the discussion
So
with.
I would like to have us preserve that flexibility. Because, again, I think, we've been flying blind on an informational basis. We all may have our assumptions about what is or is not happening in terms of the frequency, but I would like to get some baseline data in the door, and then maybe we actually we roll it back for a month. We could pick a random month and vary the frequency to see if there is a huge delta in terms of what's put into one bin versus the other, right? And I don't know whether we can even, by way of collecting our own data, poll households to find out if, my recycle bin is certainly not even halfway full during the course of a regular week.
Same.
No, I'm a chronic drinker of Spindrift, and so I'm putting aluminum cans in there all the time. That's what I'm trying to do to stop drinking Coca-Cola, but with no success, as you can see. But so that's the majority of that in plastic bottles or other items. But even when we're pretty aggressive about it, we're not filling they're large bins. They're not small bins. We could possibly also get larger bins that are the same size as our trash bins and pick up less frequency and just pick up the same capacity, the same raw quantity. So, I think as long as the contract allows us some flexibility to experiment so we can really find out what is happening and what the consumer behavior is at the household level, that would be my hopeful preference in terms of how the contract is styled. And I'm open to thoughts from Mr. Munoz and others about how we can maybe start to collect some of that data without having to wait on the operator to do it for us. Maybe just surveying households and, via email and saying, what is your practice? What's your experience? And if we get a sample of 500 people in the city, that's probably going to be a pretty accurate representation of what the typical behavior is at the household level.
Yeah, Mayor, we're certainly going to move quickly with them to try to get that Wednesday pickup so we can But obviously, when they were transitioning, there were some hiccups, as we all know, with
Yeah,
routes.
some
and-
neighborhoods are missed, yeah.
So we said, let's pull back and let them get that straight. So it's one of the first things that we want to discuss. And we had discussed with the county the issue of maybe converting when this commission was asking us to potentially a biweekly, and we got new rates on that and some estimates. So we have had those conversations with the county. Through this conversation, there was also, Waste Management said, those that are power users could also get a larger bin if they're concerned that they're gonna, not be picked up, or they're gonna not be able to fill their bin, or they're gonna be fill their bin, and because you're gonna pick it up less frequent. So there's larger bins that could be made available as well as an option. So, we will be reaching out to Waste Management to see when we
So
can.
you and council, do we, is the contract style that would allow us that flexibility? Is it a question we need to answer? Do we need to ask?
Yeah, if I may, Mayor, right
Yeah.
now you select a service frequency in the agreement. Any changes are technically an amendment to the agreement, which requires both parties' consent. But we can try to ask the county for some flexibility to change the frequency level.
Does the county collect weekly? I don't believe they do.
I think they do.
They do?
Across the street from my house, they do.
Really?
No, county is biweekly.
I think it's bi-weekly. So
Yeah. I'm unincorporated
Again,
there, and my end's picked up biweekly.
look, I think we need to have a provider. We're not going to get better pricing terms than what we get under this contract. So I think we need to approve the contract, maybe with the stipulation that we want you to ask the provider whether we can write in some flexibility to either increase or reduce the service frequency to no less than on a bi-weekly basis. Is that fair?
Got it.
Colleagues, any objection to that modification? Okay.
No, actually, that's the reason why I asked the whole bi-weekly thing, is because actually my bin, and I recycle and I drink a lot of sparkling water, and my bin is actually much less than what it used to be, so that's actually why I asked the question. So I agree in everything you're
Okay,
saying.
so with that modification, any further discussion? I'd move that we adopt item 5 with the modification given to council. Is there a second?
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Sorry.
I think we've wrapped up,
Sorry.
I think we've wrapped up our discussion on
So
this item.
moving forward?
Correct. So I would move, and we'll open up the public hearing. Well, let's open up the public hearing. So this is a public hearing item on our entering into the county, into a contract for curbside recycling pursuant to our interlocal agreement with Miami-Dade County. If there's any member of the public who'd like to address this commission on item 5, please come forward at this time. Seeing no one in the chamber, Madam Clerk, is there anyone online?
No one on Zoom.
Okay. Okay, with that, I'd like to move the item with the amendment that we have the ability to change the frequency of service, whether up or down, but at no time less than on a bi-weekly basis.
So,
So,
question, sorry.
Yes, sir.
The mayor, so what if they say no?
Well, I would imagine they will say yes because their service level with the county is bi-weekly.
Okay, so my question still lies. What if they say no?
I guess this item will come back, and this contract takes effect when?
Actually, April 1st,
April 1st.
yes. Like last April, this April,
So
April
look,
1st of 20.
Yeah, so
So
we're
it's
not,
in
so right
effect.
now, we're operating outside of the contract. We've been operating outside the contract for a month and a half. They say no, let's put it back on the next agenda, and we'll discuss it then. I mean, right now, we're operating without a contract.
Yes, Mayor, we can present the change to the county.
Okay.
What we want to avoid is having to take the agreement back to the Board of County Commissioners for any changes,
Okay.
obviously.
Okay. So that would be my motion. Is there a second?
second.
Okay. So, Madam Clerk, we have a motion by myself, a second by Commissioner Rodriguez. If you can call the roll on item 5, please.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonich,
Sorry, I couldn't get the microphone on.
Are you a no or yes this time?
I'm a no.
Even with the modification?
Can I tell you?
Oh, man.
I'm just, you know what,
Oh,
it's
good.
not
won't
even
take it
that. I
personally.
just worry that this is gonna come back and it's gonna be like, oh, okay, let's go. So if I vote yes now, that just means we talk about it again, not that we're saying yes to anything?
Correct.
All right, you guys, you know what? You got a lot to think about. I'll vote yes in the meantime.
If we have to, we'll recycle the
Commissioner
item.
Rodriguez,
Oh, my,
Yes.
that was terrible.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
I'll vote yes, reluctantly. I'm just joking. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can you read item 6, please?
A resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of South Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute an agreement for external audit services pursuant to request for proposal number FN 2025-02.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Riverall, I believe this is your item. Let me spare you the trouble. Do we need a presentation from staff on this item? Actually, since it is a public hearing, can you give us a quick 2-second summary of what the item is for?
Good evening.
Thank you.
As you're aware, municipalities, jurisdictions, public entities in the state of Florida require an audit every year. We have in our charter mandatory rotation of new auditors every 6 years. It used to be 3 years, now it's 6 years, which is one of the improvements or one of the modifications that was brought before in a referendum to the public, and they voted with in agreement. What you have before you is our agreement with the CFLG, our last auditors, has ended and terminated. What you have before you is a new agreement for 6 years with a new auditing firm, which was done through the solicitation process in compliance with Florida statute. We had an evaluation committee. Evaluation committee made a ranking, and before you, the city manager has a recommendation.
Thank you, sir. Questions of Mr. Riverall? Okay. Seeing no questions, let's open this up to this item to public hearing. Any member of the public is invited to come forward and speak to this commission on item 6, which is the approval or authorizing the manager to negotiate and execute an agreement for external auditing services. Seeing no one in the chamber at this time. Madam Clerk, is there anyone online?
No one on Zoom, sir.
Okay, so we will close the public hearing on item 6. Colleagues, again, any questions? Is there a motion?
So I do have a question for the manager.
Commissioner Rodriguez, you're recognized.
So we are voting here to give the contract to Citron?
Yes, sir.
I'm good. All right.
Okay, with that, is there a motion?
I move the motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez and a second by Vice Mayor Corey. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonich,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 5.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you can read the add-on item, please.
Yes. A resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of South Miami, Florida, rescinding resolution number 024-24-16129, which authorized the city manager to execute certain mutual aid agreements, memorandums of understanding, and other procedural law enforcement agreements with governmental entities, including any amendments or renewals thereto on an ongoing basis.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Colleagues, this item we considered before, not intending to beat a dead horse, but we didn't take action on this item. I think it's probably appropriate still, as decisions like these historically were made by the city commission prior to the delegation. And I think that's all I really have to say about the item. Are there no questions, I'm happy to entertain a motion or entertain any questions any of you may have.
I'll move the motion, Mayor.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Yes. Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Bonich,
No.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-5.
4-1, right?
4-1.
Thank you.
5-4.
Okay. Madam Clerk, is there anything else on the agenda for discussion this evening?
No, Mayor, that's it.
Colleagues, are there any board reports that you'd like to make before we adjourn? Any board reports, commission reports, comments? No?
Yeah. I do too.
Okay. You're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you. I believe that we understand, hopefully, the gravity that the decisions that we make here have in the real world, and the things that we do, how they are perceived by others. And when we make decisions, whether they're good or bad, they have a certain gravity to them. Intended or unintended consequences because of that are the ones we have to live with. So I ask you, when you walk away from here tonight, to take that with you. Because I think sometimes we say, do, vote, don't vote things, and it's easy to get up and walk away from it. And that's not fair to our residents.
Commissioner Rodriguez, you're recognized.
So I just wanted to say to the city manager that, my vote is in no way a reflection of my confidence in you and in the deputy manager. I just want you to know that from me. I just feel that ultimately there is no separating, so I just feel, it's up to the commission, but I just wanted you to know that, please don't feel that there's any lack of confidence, at least from my behalf. I have full confidence in you.
Okay. I just want to thank all of us. Sarah, you want to be recognized? Yes.
Yeah, I would just like to say a comment that we had the 6th grade class here from Somerset SOMI. We had over close to 100 kids, 80 kids here. I know the chief and his team did a really good job, and they were super excited with all the toys that we have with the police station. I know Parks and Rec, thank you, Quentin, Director Poe, for taking the kids. I know Commissioner Rodriguez, that was his first time with the field trip, and he had a lot of the kids he knew there, and the mayor showed up. It was a really, really fun time, and the kids really, really appreciate it. So I'm glad the second year of our annual field trip from Somerset SOMI was a success. Thank you, Assistant City Manager, it was great. Appreciate it. No, not this time.
No, not this time. There's too many of them. But no, I echo the comments, and I'm sorry, Commissioner, Mr. Eisner, I skipped over you. My
No
apologies.
worries. I just wanted to say, we've had a series of residents that have come in that have had issues. We've had some bigger issues happening, trees falling, things like that. And when I've gone and spoken with residents, I've been on this dais a while now. I don't think residents have ever had the level of engagement they have with the commission that they do now. When I go to speak with them, they tell me they've spoken with people. They feel great that pretty much everyone in the commission is talking to them and hearing them. So I just wanted to thank everybody here. I wouldn't say that we're the greatest amenity to the city of South Miami. I think we're probably somewhere down, hopefully top 10. But just my perception of it is that you're all doing a great job. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. One, I want to congratulate our city manager again on a very distinguished and special achievement. He relayed a story to me, which I hadn't heard, which I hope you don't mind me sharing, which, I always joke that I get mad at my high school guidance counselor for not telling me to go into the fire service after I read their fire contract, because I could have gone to law school for free, probably undergrad as well. But he was sharing with me that it was a point of contention with his father when he made the decision to go into public service. And Chip, I'm sure that you already feel this way, but I think it bears mentioning that I'm sure that he's looking down on you and probably beaming with pride that you have far exceeded probably anything he might have expected or hoped for when you had that conversation probably many years ago. Known you a long time, always been very impressed with your professionalism, and I think we all saw you go through that experience as someone who's worked, myself, and gotten their professional degree while working and raising a family and dealing with all the hardships that life brings. Just want to say kudos again on a remarkable achievement. At the next meeting, I'm going to bring you your own personalized pocket protector, right? Since you've now achieved extraordinary nerd status with your PhD. And we may bring you a lab coat, with the name Dr. Iglesias. And I don't know if you like to smoke a pipe, but maybe an ascot and a smoking pipe might be in order as well. But we talked about getting you a gift. I hope this doesn't violate the sunshine laws, but we thought it might be more appropriate to probably get you some tickets to the upcoming World Club soccer event as a gift to commemorate the event. So hopefully we can talk about getting you some tickets here in the next few weeks, something we all decided we would chip in on. So I just wanted to acknowledge the accomplishment and say we are all extremely proud of you and how well that accomplishment not only reflects upon yourself, but certainly our organization. So
Thank you so much. Mayor and Commission, I appreciate the words, and certainly, like I said, it does take a village. Everybody's patience, support. I had several emails drafted that I was abandoning the program multiple times, and I was walked off that ledge, but it certainly take your patience as well, because, take commitment and travel and so forth. So appreciate the kind words, and yeah, it's more meaningful than just being a lifelong learner. Certainly opportunities that my parents never had. And I had a picture of them in my back pocket when I walked across the stage, so that was still driving. So I think I'll keep my coolness. I'll avoid some of the other things that you
don't
told me I
want you don't
should
want the
wear.
pocket protector or
No,
the ascot or pipe? No? Okay.
It'll hurt my street
Soccer tickets, then.
credibility. Yeah, that you really hit a nerve there. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you again for your extraordinary leadership and example. So,
Yeah. And I'm
colleagues,
sorry you were not able to join the fire service. It definitely would have been very rewarding for you.
I probably would have dragged you all down. So, yeah. Okay. Without further comment, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Go Panthers. Yeah.